Hi everyone, this video is about general steps in evaluating a scholarly article. First thing, you want to check out the author's credibility by clicking on the linked author name in the detailed record or citation abstract view of the article as it appears in the database. Or if there's not much on the author in one database, try another. This can happen sometimes. I'm often able to see more published articles by an author in one database versus another when I search for their credibility. Number 2, scan the detailed record to see if the author's affiliations appear there. If not, try Googling them by doing a basic search or go to Google Scholar and see if there's a list of their publications. Please read the abstract. Never forget that an article abstract, whether it's brief or lengthy, is an invaluable initial evaluation tool. It sums up the content of the article. After reading it, you can decide if you want to use it for your research. Open up the full text and scan the article next. So look at the full text of the article to see if it contains at least some of the following. And there are different types of research articles, so maybe not all of the following will be present. It just depends on the discipline and type of research article that you're reading. You want to see structured sections like an introduction, a literature review, methodology, discussion, or conclusion section, charts, tables, graphs, and other forms of data presented, survey results or research results, an analysis of the content, references, works cited, notes at the end of the article, technical jargon suited to the type of publication and audience. Next on this video, I will be demonstrating all of these steps, so please watch the entire video because this evaluation technique will help you greatly on your scholarly article assignment. I am in Academic Search Complete, and I have already entered my search terms, and I have already limited my search importantly to full text and scholarly to ensure that I have full text scholarly articles. You definitely want to try full text limiting because you need to have articles that you can scan through beyond just the abstract for the scholarly assignment evaluation portion. So what I've got here, I'm going to scroll down to result number 19. That is the particular article that I'm interested in. And here it is. Food advertising during children's television programming on broadcast and cable channels. So I'm clicking the link here. It has now brought me into the detailed record. It tells us we have a PDF full text to look at. Here are some of the images that we saw earlier just a minute ago on the results list. And we have the linked author names, linked subject terms, and here's the abstract. So the first thing I want to do is find out something about the author's credibility. The number here next to the two names, number 1 means that Carmen Stitt is the primary or lead author. She probably did the most work on this article. Dale Kunkel is the secondary author, and that's why we have the numbers the way we do. So I'm going to click here for Carmen Stitt to see what we can find out on her. In Academic Search Complete, this is the only article she's written, so it brought us back to the same article. I went ahead and opened up a tab for EDS, typed in her name, did an author search, and it gave me 6 results for Carmen Stitt. So we can see that you may want to try another database and see if another database references other works that one of your authors has done. And it's not, if you have multiple authors, it's not necessary to maybe check out the affiliations or the credibility of, say, more than 2 of those authors. And as you can see, we've got, here's the one that we are looking at now, but we also have the persuasive impact of narratives, a comparison across types and modalities, and television broadcasting is the subject area. Emotional and cognitive predictors of the enjoyment of reality-based fictional television programming. So you can see she's interested in television programming, she's interested in fictional, she's interested in advertising, the psychology of reality-based television programming, and so forth. So she has a lot of interests in television programming and communications, and of course this would include advertising to children. So that's good. We can see that she's probably got a lot of credibility that way. Another method would be to go to Google, type her name in, and the results shows me first right off the bat that she's a professor. So she's on ratemyprofessor.com. And down here is the faculty bio for her at the school where she's teaching. And I'm going to click there, and it's alphabetical, and I'm going to scroll through to her name. And there she is. There's her educational background. These are her research areas, her teaching areas right here. You can see it a little bigger. And if I wanted to, I could click here to know her teaching philosophy, but I don't think that would really help me per se with the credibility issue. But obviously it's looking very good for her, so I'm going to also look at Google Scholar, and you can get to it by simply doing a Google search, typing in Google Scholar in Google. There it is. I've entered her name. I'm going to click search, and it's got quite a lot for her here where we can see that she's either a co-author or she's perhaps even the lead author. That's the one that we just looked at a moment ago. That is the one we are looking at. Looks like she's even been in a book, or she may have even authored the entire book. So there's a lot of information on her here that really looks important and related and relevant and says that she's the real deal. So now what I'm going to do is go back to that, and I'm going to click in here. Now I'm going to check out Dale Kunkel. And he's got 29 in Academic Search Complete, so that tells a lot to me about him. So obviously, and you can see that the titles here, government can regulate food advertising to children, watching sex on television predicts adolescent initiation of sexual behavior. So he obviously studies a lot about television viewing and its effect on different types of viewing groups, adults, children. It looks like he has a big focus on children and adolescents. So we know what we need to know about them now. So I'm going to grab the one that I just had a moment ago. There it is. Okay, so back to this. We're back in the detailed record for the same article that we were interested in, and now we're going to take a quick look at the abstract. The abstracts are generally, this is a pretty standard average length for an abstract. I've seen them shorter and I've seen them longer. You really want to read all of the abstract to really get a good handle on what this is about. So here this abstract is saying that, of course, the number of overweight, obese children in the U.S. is increasing, and it's seen as a serious health threat. And they're saying that there's a preponderance of food marketing on television targeted at children, and they're saying here that it is, in fact, contributing to the increase. And they've done content analysis studies indicating this, and so forth. They describe what the study's doing, identifies the nature and extent of food marketing messages presented during children's television programs, while also classifying the products advertised using a food rating scheme. So they're trying to determine the healthiness of and the nutritional value of the foods that they're advertising. Down here it says the overwhelming majority of food ads directed to children are for high-calorie, low-nutrient food products that should not be part of a regular diet. So this is something that's pretty interesting. It looks like it's going to support one of the areas of my open-ended research question. I have been thinking, of course, that children are probably somewhat influenced, at least, by the advertising, and it could, in fact, possibly contribute to childhood obesity. So this looks good to support that thesis. Now I'm going to click on the full text. It pulls up the PDF of the article. There it is. There's our authors. There's the same abstract that we saw in Academic Search Complete. And there's an introduction right there. Here's more credibility and accountability. They're saying all correspondence should be addressed to Carmen Stitt and so forth. So that's more lending to the credibility of the author right there. So you can see there's a lot of statistics, and they're citing in text where they're receiving their information from and their research quotes and so forth. And it's section structured. So we've got the section here, the influence of food advertising on children. As we know, that's an important thing to look for. They are generally going to be structured with standalone sections. Let's take a look at some more of these structured sections. Here's the methods section, and this is important, and as I said before earlier in this video, you would want to see a method or methodology section. Here are measures as far as coding and other quantitative measures taken to figure out their data and their results. In fact, here is a results section as well. In addition to the structured sections, we're seeing the tables here. This one is primary themes and appeals used in television food advertising targeted at children. There's multiple tables in here: distribution of food product types shown during television food advertising targeted at children. We have a colored graph here that breaks down between cable TV and broadcast TV and the differences using the Department of Health and Human Services food categories. So there's lots of good, credible information and references appearing here in this particular article. And we have a discussion section that represents the conclusion of the article. Sometimes it will be called conclusion, it's not always called discussion. And here are all of our references, and there's quite a lot of them, and it goes on into the next page. Actually looking at things written in the article, excerpts that would boost your argument depending on what it is. Here's one for me that's near the end. High-calorie, low-nutrient products predominate, whereas healthier foods are rarely advertised to children at all. So they have some recommendations here and some predictions. The findings of this research make clear that significant and unprecedented shifts in food marketing to children will be required in very short order to receive the goal of balance established by the IOM. Should that profound shift not be forthcoming, it is likely that a regulatory battle in Congress will ensue now that the societal costs of this overall marketing pattern have been documented so clearly. So clearly this particular article would work quite a bit to bolster my suspicion, my leaning, my tendency to think that perhaps aggressive food advertising toward children is possibly contributing to childhood obesity. That's it for now. Talk to you later.